I'm Dana Han-Klein here with Dean Devlin for Bad Samaritan.
Logistically or emotionally, what was the most challenging scene to film?
The most challenging was the last part of the film because it wasn't scripted to be in the snow. In fact, we only had 5 days to shoot the entire ending of the movie. And most people said, you can't get it done in 5 days. But, we went up. The first 2 days went really well. We thought, we're going to be able to do this. Giant snowstorm hits. So not only did we have to now shoot the rest in a giant snowstorm, we had to reshoot the first 2 days because it had no snow.
No continuity.
So that was probably the biggest challenge.
If you were to run a scam personally, what would it be?
If I were to run a scam personally, I would probably start a movie studio trying to convince people to go see my films.
It's going well then.
We'll see this weekend.
Which of the cast, if you could only pick one to loop in to help you with the scam, would you pick?
Oh, without a doubt, it's Robert. Robert's the biggest scam artist in the world. I mean, you should just see this guy. When he's off on the streets, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. He's just surprising and exciting and fun.
Do you have a smart home? Is your home a smart home, or do you embrace technology in your everyday life?
I am a hardcore geek. So whenever something comes out, I have to have it first, which means my wife is constantly screaming about how she can't get anything to work in the house because it's all too crazy. But yeah, no, I love that stuff.
What's your favorite piece of in-home tech?
Well, I love to be able to turn on the lights and look at the cameras, and it just drives everybody else crazy.
Did this creep you out a little bit about the negative uses of it possibly, or was your wife worried?
Well, I had done a TV series called Leverage, and it was all about cons and heists, and we had experts there who were always telling me that I have a false sense of security with all my technology, and they would always show me how easy it is to access. So when we went to do Bad Samaritan, that was one of the great things that we thought we could show, is that these things that make you feel like you have security and privacy actually can be used against you at any moment.
What is the most elaborate scheme you came up with as a kid, or maybe as an adult, to hide something from one of your parents?
Well, I got a job working for my father on a movie he was making called My Bodyguard. And one of the things I always had to do was bring papers. So I saw his signature over and over again. So I would practice it until I had it perfect. And so then, they never signed a report card again after that. I was constantly signing all my own stuff with my dad's name on it so he wouldn't see.
How long did it take you to master the signature?
Pretty quickly. It was not that far from my own.
What do you admire most about Robert's character?
What I admire most is him not rationalizing his bad behavior. Look, we all make mistakes in life. We've all done things we regret. But how do we react afterwards? And, a lot of people will just look at something they did and rationalize it. And to me, that is the ultimate act of cowardice. What I love about Robert's character is he's not the most moral person in the beginning of the film. He's morally flexible, as we would say. But when he does the most horrific decision a person could make, a humiliatingly cowardly decision, he looks it right in the eye afterwards, and he decides he would rather die in the attempt to change that than to live with having made that decision. And I find that to be incredibly admirable. And that's what this movie's about. It's about redemption.
How do you define success now versus maybe earlier in your career?
I think that obviously when I was starting out, I wanted to make a living, and the nice thing about when you have success, or at least financial success, is that your priorities change. And part of it becomes about supporting the people who work with you and making sure that they're doing okay. And trying to do things that you haven't done before. And that was the thing that appealed to me most about Bad Samaritan. I'd never done anything like this. Tonally, visually, every aspect of this was completely different than the things I'd done in my past. So it was terrifying to do, but also incredibly exhilarating.
Well, thank you so much. Congrats on the film.